Oh, he's bringing cookies.
Teacher's pet.
All right, we will come to order. My IT says we are live, so we'll call to order our fiscal court meeting for June 25th, 2024 at 9 a.m. And has this meeting been advertised, and do we have a quorum?
Yes.
All right. Noting that, Magistrate Cullen, you're up for invocation, please.
Most kind and gracious Heavenly Father, we are so grateful to be gathered here, and we're grateful to be able to do business that Thou has put before us. We ask that You will open our hearts and our minds to make sure that we are doing the business of the people and do the things that are pleasing to Thee as well. We ask that You will be with us through this day, and that You will give us Your guidance and Your knowledge to do the things that are right. We ask that You will watch out for Magistrate Ellis, who's not with us today, and be with him. And most of all, please bless those who serve this country and also all of our first responders, that they will be safe and be out of harm's way. And if something shall happen, that You wrap your cloak of love around the family members of those that have lost you. We say these things in the name of Thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. All right, so welcome everyone. Before we have our pledge, I've got to play a little prelude to prepare you for the pledge. How about you can hear?
Oh.
Oh my.
I never did understand though why they only played Richard Henry Lee's song in the prelude.
So Ben Franklin has come a long way to lead us in our pledge this morning. So everyone will stand with me, and Ben, we will let you begin.
Which elementary school were you in?
Actually, Thomas Jefferson. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And for you, you may be seated. For those of you that don't know, IT Director Bill Nichols is in a play in Harrodsburg at the Ragged Edge Theater called 1776. If you have not seen it and you can still get a ticket, you need to go because it is fantastic. Bill is the perfect
Thank you.
Personification.
Presentation of Ben Franklin. So, Bill, we thank you for putting on your costume this morning and coming and leading us in our pledge.
Absolutely my pleasure. Y'all meet well.
This is the last weekend. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Next, we're going back to Tory and Biggs.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Magistrates.
Okay. We need to approve our prior meeting minutes, and we have two. We have the LGEA CRA special call meeting on June the 11th at 8:45. A motion to approve.
Make a motion we approve.
Motion by Magistrate Cullen. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Magistrate Gay. All those in favor, or is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. Then we have our regular set of minutes from June the 11th at 9 a.m. Have a motion to approve.
Make a motion to.
Second.
Magistrate Bodner, second. Magistrate Cullen. Okay, any discussion on those minutes? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. All right. Approve our budget transfers. Ms. Shannon.
I have budget transfers for the general fund, $103,174.64. For the public works fund, $27,876.26. Joint jail was $27,607.50. The health fund was $115,651.95. EMS was $38,980.71, and fleet management was $3,286.37. For a total of $316,577.43.
And did you mentioned that first one, you probably did, and I didn't hear it, the general fund to joint jail. Is that,
That's a cash transfer,
oh,
that's
that's
next.
it, okay,
That's
thanks.
I make a motion, we approve the budget transfers as presented.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Magistrate Gay, second by Magistrate Cullen. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries.
Cash transfer from the general fund to the joint jail, $1,316.20. Just a check that got deposited into the wrong account.
Make a motion, we approve.
I'll second.
Motion by Magistrate Cullen, second by Magistrate Sleeper. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries.
We're on to these seconds today. Huh?
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on in the corner over there, but,
You never are.
yeah, I know. Oh, it's scary. Okay, approve the bills.
Got the bills today. I had a total of $616,143.95, which is a little bit different than the packet that went to you all. I had to add a $2,834.48 check to Main Street Parable as a pass-through. We got the check in, so we're just sending it to them. And then $81.05 for Magistrate Ellis's travel.
Make a
And
motion,
what
we
was that
approve.
total again?
$616,143.95.
Okay. Motion by Magistrate Cullen, second.
Second.
Magistrate Gay, any discussion on the bills? Seeing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. Thank you, Shannon. All right, is Mikaela in?
Yes, she does.
Okay.
Oh, sure, there.
See her sneak in. Good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
Good, good. Second reading of solar ordinance.
Yep.
Okay.
I think you all just need to take a vote unless there's any questions for me.
I'll make a motion, we approve the second reading of the solar ordinance.
Okay, have a motion by Magistrate Gay, second by Magistrate Cullen. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor of second reading of the zoning ordinance 920.24, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Have a good day. Okay, then we have the second reading of the budget, ordinance number 22130. Julie, is there anything you'd like to say about the second reading of the budget? Or
No?
okay.
Hallelujah, praise the Lord.
Yes, ditto.
I'll
Maybe we need another prelude.
I'll make that motion.
Here.
All right, Magistrate Gay made the motion, second, Magistrate Bodner. Any discussion on second reading of the ordinance? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. Thank you. All right, Steve Griffin, HR Director. We're redoing one resolution, is that correct?
Yeah, the resolution submitted, the prior meeting, we left off an important part that we were adopting the Bluegrass Ads program. The Transportation Department wanted all the counties to adopt the plans of the districts. That way they didn't have so many different plans out there, so.
Make a motion, we approve.
Okay.
Okay, we have a motion by Magistrate Cullen,
Second.
second by Magistrate Sleeper. Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carries. I'm gonna get y'all some little flags to hold up.
We're gonna have to do
Because
something.
y'all all sound alike over
Push me
there.
two times.
Yeah.
Raise the hand. Also, in your packet is the agreement with our employee assistance program provider that will go into effect July 1st. And that's just for your information.
Employee Assistance Program. Anything we need to know specifically?
No, we've got the stuff we'll be getting out to all the employees and department heads about the program and how they utilize that. And we'll cover that in our staff meeting as well Thursday.
Thursday, okay.
Yes.
And so there is a service charges and payment sheet on the last page that tells the annual fee, the total number of employees covered, what we agree to pay, et cetera, so,
Et cetera.
okay. Motion to approve,
Made.
Measure Cullen, second.
Second.
Measure Gay, any questions about the employee assistance program? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Angie Muncy,
Come on down.
come on down.
Good morning.
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 All right, we have our dead livestock removal memorandum of agreement to redo. So the only thing changed as of July 1 this year would be a 2% cost of living increase. So our total this year is $79,050. And that's actually the only change. That's all I've got.
Make a
Okay.
motion, we approve.
Second.
Who did the motion? Jason, okay.
Jason.
Measure Cullen, second by Measure Bodner. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. Thank you, and I want to thank Danny Lay for being here today as the represent the Conservation District. We appreciate everything that you all do.
Thanks to the court.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, sir.
Have a good day. Okay, next, don't think Casey is here. Steve, would you mind to, Mr. Sleeper, would you mind to check and see? I think he is out, but. Just want to make sure, I think he's out today.
Out there doing push-ups.
Okay.
He's not here.
Okay, all right, so that's fine. He wanted to request the courtroom again in October for general election excused early voting. The dates are October 23rd through October 30th. He just wanted to get a jump start on getting those dates reserved for early voting. And we do have fiscal court
On the 29th.
on the 29th.
Yeah.
So.
We'll meet at Barry's house.
We are.
Maybe we can go to Junction.
That's what I asked, yeah. I think we can check on that.
Do a little
So
trick or
we'll get-
treating while we're out there.
That will be determined, to be determined.
To be determined.
Okay.
We'll meet at Barry's, we'll do trick or treating while we're there.
Okay.
Good neighborhood.
So I don't know that this requires a motion or just an approval, but if someone wants to make a motion to approve it, Mr. Harmon, okay, second.
Second.
Mr. Bodner, okay, any discussion on that matter of business?
Nope.
All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. Next, there are two board appointments. The first one is the Boyle County Extension Council, and the CEC met and submitted two names. Kim Kernan is who I would like to ask for approval to the Boyle County Extension Council, and she will be taking the place of Marvin Swan, who resigned earlier this year. So if I can get a motion to approve.
Make a motion.
Kim Kernan, Magistrate Bogan, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Magistrate Gay, any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries, Kim Kernan is approved.
This will go through December 31, 24, end of the year. That's the
Yes.
term.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm. That's correct. Okay, next is appointment to the CVB Board. It has been recommended Lynn Ty be reappointed to that board, and that term will be ending May 31st, 2027. So I'd like motion, Magistrate Cullen, second by Magistrate Sleeper. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay?
Thank you very much.
Motion carries. All right, thank you. Brent Blevins. Okay. Brent has got several things. Come on down. Good morning.
Always appreciate the opportunity to talk to you guys and spend a few minutes with you, and we'll chat a little bit, and feel free to ask me questions as we go. and see what we can get into. So I think the way the agenda reads, we'll start with the tax rate. Is that correct? Am I correct on that?
That's fine, yep.
All right, let me hand this to Chris. Here you go, Chris. That's the signed by the board and that I have to present to you, and then I'll give one also to Casey. I believe it has to go to Casey on my way out. Real quick on the health department, just to start out, this year we're going to do between 14 and 16,000 different services, which is up for us, which is good. To give you an indication on the economic side, something that's been going on for the last couple of years and we thought would slow down by now, but the number of permits that are being pulled for new housing is continuing to just increase and increase. Give you an idea, on Monday of this week, they had 14 permits they were trying to get to that quick, and normally it's about 3 to 5 on any given day. So I always like to throw that in to give people an idea too of what that looks like on that side of the world for the health department and just for the community in general. Some things that continue to grow for us, our WIC program, now that we're back mostly in person from COVID, is just growing. Our HANDS program has taken off. At any given time, they'll have about 40 families in that, including Hispanic families, and we have 4 sets of twins right now, which is pretty cool. That's, I don't know why. I don't know why this year we've got them, but we've got them, so that's kind of a cool thing. Environmental, like I said, it's just going through the roof. Harm reduction, syringe, continues to grow. Our person now is Olivia Cantrell, and at some point, if you haven't met her, you'll meet her. But she is just now, last week, got certified to start doing the HIV testing and hepatitis testing, so that we've been doing that, but now we'll be doing that on a more regular basis. So really excited about that. We did have one HIV positive person in the last couple of months that was identified through that program. And from our perspective, you know, a lot of people hear about harm reduction and we're talking about needles and clean needles, and this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to get people used to testing. If there's a case out there or cases, we can get them directed in the right place so that they can get the treatment they need and we can stop the spread. That's a big deal with harm reduction on hepatitis and HIV. That's a big piece of what we're trying to do also. So currently we have 18 employees. We've grown a little. That's in the middle of COVID. We actually had 7 more full-time, so we were about 25 total, but 18-ish is about where we kind of function. Our budget this year is right at $2 million, and like a lot of budgets, it goes up a little bit every year. It seems like its costs go up, and that's just kind of the nature of the business. Our tax rate this year, we didn't increase it any. We kept it at 3.6. As you know, a couple of years ago, I came in here and we went from 3.7 back to 3.6. And we're going to keep it at that for right now. That's producing. Some of the impacts that we're having that I assume a lot of people are going to have on their budget. Our goal is to always have 1 year's operating budget, and we were able to do that right at the beginning of COVID. Thanks to the CARES Act money, that helped us to do better than that those couple of years, but now that trend just now is starting to go the other way. The retirement help that we get from the Kentucky state budget, and it's not just Boyle County, it's all the health departments, that has already been reduced 10% last year, 10% this year, and by next year and the following year it'll be down to 50%, and then it's just a matter if they keep it as a line item or not. If that totally goes away, which I do expect that to, that'll be a $300,000-ish impact our budget that we will then be scrambling to see where those funds, how we make that work. But I think it's important for you all to know, you know, what that looks like on the revenue side for us. So, any questions about that before we move on? Everybody good with that? So really what I'm asking now is just, we're keeping it at 3.6, not changing anything for you all to read that in and vote that.
Make a motion to approve that.
Second.
Okay, have a motion by Magistrate Cullen, second by Magistrate Gay. Any discussion? Just to let you all know, the health department is not under the same House bill that all the other taxing districts are, so even though the rate does not change, they could potentially receive more than the 4%, but because they're not under that House bill, then it doesn't apply. So, and it just depends on what the assessment is. So,
Yes.
you know, if assessment goes up and they don't change the rate, then, you know, there's a potential for that. So I just want to put that out there, but normally everything works out pretty good.
That's what we're trying to do. Appreciate it.
All right, any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries.
Thank you. All right, the two contracts, I believe that's next on the agenda.
Yes.
And so these are the same contracts that we have every year. I'll start with the first one with the Detention Center. And all this is, I know the Detention Center has their own medical services, and that's great. This has just been a backup through the years. If they needed it, we would be glad to do it. A lot of times that turned out to be STD type services, or if they were looking at something like that. The rates that you see are the Medicaid rates. If the rates go up, we do it. If they go down, that's exactly what the rate is. So there's no change to that. And that's all this contract is a backup to the Detention Center.
I'll make that motion that we approve the contract
I'll
with the health
second.
department.
Okay, have a motion by Magistrate Gray, a second by Magistrate Bodner. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries.
Thank you.
All right.
And then the second one is actually between the Health Department and the Boyle County Fiscal Court, and that's when we get down to hepatitis A shots, Hep B shots, Tdap shots, TB skin tests, those type of things. And this is the same rate, and we actually have the language that we had changed a year or so ago when the court was looking at that. The rates, I can tell you, if we have to pay 70, looking at the Hep A, we pay 70 or 71 for a dose. We'll charge just enough to pay for our nurse to be there and our needle. And we're not making any money on that. So, but we keep this just if it's important and you all decide to do so your employees in the county can be healthy and we can help in that, great. We're glad to jump in and do that.
All right, is there a motion
Make
to
a
approve?
motion.
Magistrate Sleeper, second.
Second.
Magistrate Bodner, any discussion? Everybody good on that? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, and next is the medical, called medical marijuana, but that discussion, I think, I'm not missing anything on the agenda.
No, you're
Okay.
right on track.
Before I do that, can I make my 30-second shameless plug on homeless?
Yeah.
All right. Here's all I'm asking anybody that I talk to about homeless, because, we've had a lot of discussion in the community, a lot of things going on, and agreements and non-agreements and all that. All I'm asking is let's just keep walking forward and see where we get. I do think as a community, we'll get somewhere on this, and I feel sure about that. I'm really excited that the number of people, the city and the county and everybody that's been talking about this, and I do think we'll get somewhere. But let's just keep walking forward and talking about it and see where we go. Two quick things on that. Last year, or the year that's getting ready to end, I actually had a $50,000 grant through the health department, and that's how we paid for the Super 8 motel stuff. And we had Hillary Blevins at that time working that position. We used all that money by the end of April. The state just called last week, and they're giving us an additional $48,000 for this upcoming year, but they will only let me spend it on not long-term housing, but Super 8 motel or something like that. So I won't have that money till probably October, and when I get that, I'll make sure everybody better knows what that pot of money is. But it's good for that. And then, and you all might already know this, that Kathy Miles and I applied directly to the state opioid funding and found out last week we got $282,000. And one of them funds a full-time ASAP coordinator. The other one is going to help me with harm reduction, some homeless in there. So real excited about that funding, that we got that. So I just want to make sure you're all aware of that.
And can I make one comment?
Yes.
I was at an interagency meeting and someone was saying, well, I don't think our local government's really concerned about homelessness. And I said, can I speak up? And so I told them, yes, we all are. Everybody, City of Danville is my understanding, they are, Boyle County is. And we're all trying to plug through. I said, it's just a matter of all getting us on the right page, one page, and working together. So I'll keep listening to theirs, and they're gonna, so I know we'll get there. It's just,
It's a far-reaching issue, and there's so many
Yes.
different components of it
Exactly.
that it's just,
Yeah.
we just gotta keep, like you say, walking
Plugging away.
forward
Yeah.
and pulling things in.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree.
How
with that.
involved are faith-based organizations in town?
They have been at that Magistrate Sleeper, the task force. I think there's been some there. I had a call, I was sitting in the parking lot getting ready to walk in from another church, that's interested in possibly looking at their kitchen. Because, you know, if you get in a homeless shelter, then you're into a permitted kitchen type, and they're interested in that. I think, yes, I think they are involved. I'm not gonna say everybody's involved.
But there's more and more getting
Yes.
involved all the time. St.
Yes.
Peter and Paul does the meals,
Absolutely.
daily meals, and so,
Yeah, Debbie down there is a force of nature
Yeah.
in moving that forward.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that.
And are there any grants through like Veterans Affairs or anything like that to help with?
We did talk to the VA over in Lexington, and they have a person assigned to homelessness now. And we talked, that was at the end of last year, we talked to him, and he sent down some services that we talked about in ASAP. I'm trying to remember to make sure I say that correctly. That I believe was presented in ASAP. And I can't, did he come down and talk to ASAP? I'm drawing a blank on that.
I don't get to every meeting, so I'm not sure.
We have had contact with him, yes.
Okay. I just didn't know if they offered any grants as well.
The grants, I don't think it was grants that I know of. It was services to help link people up.
And the reality is that the county and the city is not going to be able to take care of this whole thing on just their backs. And,
Right.
you know, a lot of other areas have flourished because of private money and faith-based organizations.
Right.
So that's, you know, Steve, I don't know if you guys have anybody on your task force specifically from the churches that helps organize and pull in other leaders from the churches, but that might be.
We do, we've made attempts. There is some involvement in the faith-based community, but there could be a whole lot more.
Yeah.
And so I want to encourage everybody to keep communication with your church leadership to encourage them to do more. So.
Absolutely. Okay, and then a little bit of discussion real quick on I think it was the executive order that the governor did, I believe, recently on this, is how this came about for right now. And I will just tell you right up front, I've got a bias on it. As a family of 4 people, my immediate family, I've got a person who has dealt with Parkinson's, and I've got a person who's dealt with seizures. So in my world, if something is legal on a medical side and it can help people in those realms, I'm all good. I have no problem with that. I also realize outside of that, there can be other factors that go along with that. So just a couple of things I wanted to say on that, and you all feel free to ask me any questions. I am by no means an expert on this. I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the potential for it. And so I looked up, because they actually have a really good website, and real quick on this, the qualifying medical condition that's in the regulations that the governor, when the governor signed that, any type or form of cancer, chronic, severe, debilitating pain, epilepsy, or MS, chronic nausea, dealing to medical treatments, PTSD, and then other medical conditions, you know, that go in there, which covers a long, wide group of people. I have a very close friend of mine right now who has a sibling who is waiting on a kidney transplant, and this is one of those people that this would help. So I have some bias on that, but I do think it's a really positive thing. Now, let me talk about the flip side just a little bit. And you all might know this already. There's a system called the CASPER system. And if you don't know what that is, it's Kentucky All-Scheduled Prescription Electronic Reporting. And so this was put into place years ago. And what it is, it's looking for the misuse or the abuse of prescription drugs that were happening in Kentucky. And it's called CASPER, K-A-S-P-E-R. And so what it does is it tries to pinpoint, let's say there's a provider out there who is becoming the known prescriber of narcotic-based drugs, and it's just becoming a regular pattern that's where these are coming from. It's also can potentially identify people who learn to skip and say, all right, I'm going to this doctor, I know they'll give me this, I know this doctor will give me this, and that becomes an issue too. So if this, what the governor has signed into effect, ever gets to the point where it's so skewed that it jumps into something like a CASPER system, because then we're having to try to monitor and say, okay, are there providers out there who are not within the intent of this and are so far outside of the intent of this, it's become a problem. Then I can see some issues out of it. It's like anything. Brent,
If I can
there can be
add
stuff.
that real quick.
Yeah.
I know Magistrate Ellis asked me to speak about it a little bit
Yeah.
too, but with regards to the Casper, you know, marijuana will be scheduled. And so, just so you know, should be part of the Casper report.
Okay.
But just right out.
Right at the beginning?
Yeah, just like any opiates, amphetamines, marijuana, all that, marijuana would be included
Okay.
in that Casper report.
So they'll identify right from the beginning if somebody is really prescribing outside of what they should be.
Yes, yeah.
Good.
And you know, there's requirements. You know, we're required under the previous opiate law to run Casper before we prescribe. And they've really, the state's really tightened the ratchets on the physicians. And I mean, I myself actually reported a practitioner for inappropriate prescribing. And I think that happened a few months ago, and they've already taken action, put a remediation plan in place. So from that standpoint, it's very transparent among both us, and then law enforcement also has access to Casper and can do that. And you can run not only the patient, but you can run a reverse Casper on the provider and see their entire prescribing practices based on
Yeah. Good deal. So that, for me, on that side, that's, you know, that's kind of where it gets to if that's what happens. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Hopefully we're not into that, but at least it can be monitored on that level. So let me make a correction. I made a wrong statement earlier. Including my mom and dad, I have somebody with Parkinson's and somebody with seizures. I said 4, I meant to say 6, so we'll clear that up. But that's my take on it right now. I'm for it as it stands right now. I did read a report, interesting enough, Dr. Grant, that talks about once this happens, the number of ER visits goes up, which was very interesting to me. That I'm not in the ER world every day, so I don't quite understand that, but so we'll see. I hope that doesn't impact you all negatively in any way, but for right now, the way it stands, I'm in. So we'll see how this plays out.
All right, thank you, Brent.
All right.
Appreciate
Any
that.
other questions from anybody?
Court have any other questions?
Always appreciate you
Thanks for
guys.
being
Thank
here.
you very much.
Yeah.
Thanks, Brandon.
JJ, do you have to be anywhere real soon?
Nope. The judge's prerogative.
Our county attorney has to be in court shortly, so I'm gonna move him up and let him go ahead and present, and then we'll get back to you, JJ.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. So,
Request for easement.
we have a request for easement from Mr. Aulick. Stephen Dexter is here today regarding that. Mr. Aulick is purchasing the building right there. And he just wants to make sure that, there's a sidewalk there that's technically on our property, the county's property, just to ensure that he has access to his building. And I think that we previously talked about this when someone else was going to purchase it, and we were okay with that. So I'll let Stephen speak.
I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have, but thank you for allowing us the opportunity to at least make the request to you today. It's a rather straightforward request, and it's just for 15 feet going off the building, which does encumber the courthouse property, with there being an exception for any part of any memorials that may be in that particular area. And again, just to service ingress and egress to and from the building, and to assist in a formal passway for access.
I'll make that motion, we approve.
I'll second.
Motion by Magistrate Cullen, second by Magistrate Sleeper. Any discussion?
It doesn't include the window boxes that was an issue before. That has nothing to do with that. Strictly, it's this 15 foot.
Yeah.
Strip.
All right, any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries, and we already have a corrected copy of the front page. Yeah.
Yes, I would do that. Thank you all very much for your time and consideration.
Thank you.
And I'll leave that with you. Whenever it's signed and notarized, if you just let me know.
Yeah, sure will.
Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much. May we be excused, or would
Yes,
you like
you
me to stay for JJ's report?
Only if you want to. Y'all have a good day.
You can email us, JJ, if you want.
Okay.
All right, and then a resolution to terminate an interlocal agreement.
Yes. So as you know, our joint venture with Mercer County is coming to an end in a couple of days, June
I'll happily
30th.
make the motion.
Okay. So we have to do
Terminate
it,
in a local agreement.
we have to terminate it and we have to send it to DLG, I think, is that right? And just to be approved, but they've already, I think their court has already approved the termination, so I just prepared it and that's why we're here, and you made your motion.
Okay, so motion by Magistrate Cullen, second. Magistrate Harmon, any discussion?
Oh, maybe some of this, we'll get a second good chance.
All right.
We'll go ahead and approve,
Go ahead.
and then you can, okay, all right. Those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carried.
So our only issue that we had the other day when we had our second to last joint jail meeting was, I guess when we renew each year or a couple of years where we do the percentages of how much they're to pay and how much they're to pay based on the population of inmates. In that agreement, the last agreement, it talks about they're going to pay their share of construction expenses, and so construction expenses, you're like, well, that ended a long time ago. This jail's been built for some time, and that's true. But back in, what year was that?
2015, we took out a bond.
So in 2014, we closed the note or whatever on the original construction, but in 15 we entered into a $1.something million new bond that involved all kinds of updates for energy, and so what we were trying to argue is, just because you're getting out of this agreement doesn't mean that you shouldn't still be responsible for that portion of what you agreed to before. And they're like, well, show us where we signed it in writing, and we don't have that. We don't have that. And they're like, at the end of the day, we're walking away, you've got a building, we don't have anything. Kind of like a lease, like they're walking away from a lease. They don't have anything to show for it. So that's their argument. That you
It
get,
was spelled out in the interlocal agreement that we signed in 2019, but their position was that we've disbanded the interlocal agreement.
So therefore it's null and void, sorry.
no, that's fine.
Yeah, so their position is the interlocal agreement doesn't exist anymore. And in 2019, when we renegotiated to start doing these percentages of population, it said that they would pay 35% of the note. And they're saying, well, we've disbanded the interlocal agreement, so.
How much is left on the note?
It's, gosh, I gave you that number. Their portion, I think, is about 70,000, after I did the math.
A year?
No, total.
So my contention in this, sorry to interrupt, but my contention in this is then that they do owe us that money, and that we should withhold it from the monies that will be refunded out of the restricted jail account, and they don't like that, obviously.
Well, we didn't throw that out there. We didn't even talk about settling up, and there's nothing in our agreement, right, about how we settle the funds.
It doesn't talk about that. It just talks about our.
Because each county still has some money in the restricted fund account, and so my feeling is that we just withhold what is owed on their side to make them whole in their amount due for the perfection bonded amount of money that was assigned to the jail project.
Is there enough to cover it?
Oh, yeah.
So what do you think, Chris?
I mean,
I don't think we
you
ought to
can
look
do
at
it, but I would be very upset. So, what's next? I don't know. I was saying, well, if they owe that, or they don't feel that they owe that, then maybe we'll have to do a assessment on the price of, what is quoted for the jail to house inmates. I don't know. They said they would go back today and they would ask their fiscal court if they could pay it. And Ted Dean said he wasn't recommending that they pay it, and he doubts that they will agree to pay it. So, I mean, you can withhold it and then see what happens from there. But
Is it like 3 or 4 years left
Yeah,
on the
it's
payments?
done in 6. I think it's 2030.
Okay,
yeah,
okay, yeah, so that amount of money though would make them whole as far as their commitment.
I mean, I did make an
Project.
analogy that they saying, hey, you know, you have a married couple, they get a divorce, they've got a house, they still have a mortgage. You say wife gets the house, but if you don't refinance that mortgage, you know, the mortgage company doesn't really care. They're going after both people when they don't get paid. But
Without any specific language in it, I don't know exactly what we can do, but we definitely have got to research it a little more to.
the difference is on that mortgage or that note, we got the husband and wife signing the note, whereas in this particular case, we don't have anything where Mercer County is signed or obligated themselves in
They're not
writing.
on the bond at all.
Yeah.
The bond's in our name, so.
So without any specific language, I don't know.
So if we withheld it, then we could maybe have a conversation with them and then see if we could work something out, maybe.
All right.
Well, I think we should see what happens today, see what their court says. I mean, nothing says we're giving the money back to them today,
No,
correct?
no.
Yeah. So this is something that we'll probably have to bring up at a future meeting and to figure out how.
And we
wanna-
have one more joint jail meeting in July.
And we've always been cordial with them. I mean,
Yeah.
I would hope that we could come up with some
Work
type
together, yeah.
of agreement at the end of the day.
But Mercer County has always sought ways to cut their costs.
That's-
I mean, every year, not just every now and then,
Yeah,
but every year.
it's always at the front of their mind.
And they've had to deal with a lifetime.
Yeah.
So we'll just continue to
We'll keep you monitored.
investigate that.
Thank you.
Okay, that it?
That's it.
Okay.
And I'm gonna have to leave at 10:30, so that's why I wanted to do this.
Well, we'll be done by then.
I was thinking maybe we might. I'm hoping we might.
We are moving right
You
along.
haven't noticed a trend, we'll be done by then.
All right, JJ, you're up. Thank you.
Clock starting.
I'll leave them with 3
And
minutes.
John.
This is going to be good. So we're going to divide up our
Harold.
presentation into 3 parts. Josh will handle administrative and Harold will talk workforce development.
Okay.
First off, I want to say thank you on behalf of the Danville-Boyle County Development Corporation to the active participation from the fiscal court, AAA, and numerous meetings we've had, Junction City and the Small Business Development and Center College, and Jason being on the board. So everybody participates actively, not just in the funding, but numerous meetings. So that doesn't happen in a lot of places, so we appreciate that. As far as economic development, we are sound, we are moving ahead, we are having investments in the community. A lot of people don't understand economic development. It's not just industrial development. It's small business development, it's existing business retention and expansion, entrepreneurship, but there's also a community development side. And we're going to focus on that this coming year in this budget. We want to put some community resource centers out. We want to beef up our small business entrepreneurship program, picking up where the old center works left off, strengthening the chamber partnership, and Josh will talk a little bit more about that. But I'm going to turn it over to Josh right now to talk administrative operations.
Yeah, so to cover some of the day-to-day operations, this is not an exhaustive list, but many of the things. So we had over 35 site selection search inquiries this year. That doesn't cover every single business that we talk to, but typically the industrial or the larger commercial projects, and it doesn't include everything that's been in the pipeline for longer, like for Chick-fil-A, which was years. So there are other things going on outside of that. One of the challenges we've seen, though, in connecting with businesses is that you have a lot of people who will just go and open a business by themselves and never say a word to you. So as JJ said, that's something that we're really trying to focus on. We put a significant amount of money in the budget for the upcoming fiscal year, starting July 1st, to address that. But we did get started a little early and hosted our first ever doing business in Danville event, which I know Trilly was there. It was, I think, a great success. We worked alongside, partnered with the city of Danville, who worked to get contact information from people as they filled out business, got their business licenses so that we could invite them to this event. But hopefully, all the reviews I heard were great, so hopefully we can keep that going and do that as a regular thing.
Josh, question. You kind of hit the nail on the head before I was saying, are you guys actively intercepting people to let them know the services that you can and do offer, business licenses, all that stuff, saying, hey, make sure, like there's almost a checklist of like, go here to see our economic development people so we can steer you into success.
Yeah, so that was kind of what we were trying to address with this meeting is we had basically, here's all the things that we can do. One super simple thing we work with the chamber on, is the Jumpstart program. So when we have a new business, someone maybe they found a site, maybe it's a restaurant or whatever, we will bring everyone that we can, in the community, health inspectors, each different individual organization that they need to talk to, and kind of cover that base. We talk about incentives at this, just the different things that are available. But yeah, so the challenge was being able to get in contact with those people, and that's what we worked with the city, and they've been very helpful in kind of getting that contact information. Don't remember, but I think I mentioned that Chamber of Commerce worked with us as well, and then CenterWorks Director Jennifer Gonder was also part of that planning.
But just make sure you're hitting the counterparts out in the county, so at Parable Junction, they know to loop you guys in.
Yeah, so our plan for the small business is going to be countywide. It's not just a main street type of approach. We're going to try to do our best to get everyone. It's just kind of getting that initial information and knowing that they exist or interested in starting a business is kind of where the challenge is. But that's what we're going to try to address. We've also had 9 Workforce Development Committee meetings. That is a really great group. Harold will talk more about that. We've had 3 finance meetings to oversee our financials, quarterly basis. We've had 3 housing committee meetings. I've also had additional meetings that weren't the committee, but some people that they haven't interacted with yet, but probably will be. We've had 3 marketing committee meetings. And we'll probably be having more coming up as we really need to kind of refresh our website and branding. We've had 1 asset development committee meeting, then they look at land development and infrastructure. One's not many, obviously, but we also have the Industrial Foundation and now the EDA, who've had 10 and 5 between the 2 of them, who also land acquisition, development, and infrastructure. We've had 2 recently festival committee meetings, which is investigating the potential to reinvigorate certain festivals in Danville, maybe next year, but there's a lot of work that goes into that, so I'll leave it there for now, unless JJ has more to say about it. We've had 3 joint Chamber, CDB, and Main Street meetings that we collaborate and make sure we're on the same page. We've also recently hosted a KAED and Cabinet for Economic Development meeting that discussed strategic planning throughout the state. And Harold also participated and helped with a Honeywell rapid response when they let go of one of their shifts. I'll pass it off to him. I believe you're next to talk about workforce development. Yes.
I'll ask a question about the 35 plus site selection inquiries. Just, I don't want exact numbers or percentage, but how many of those are like larger industries versus smaller businesses?
Most of what we included in the 35 are larger. So like, for example, we had Project Bronze Sky, which was a RFI that we submitted on June the 14th, and that was 460-ish employees. So a lot of them are kind of in that range. A lot of the site selection inquiries we're seeing right now need a ton of electrical power. So, things that we would need to kind of improve. This one was one we actually, I think, checked all the boxes. So hopefully we'll stick in the running and be hearing from them again. Yeah, so most of the 35, I'd say, are the ones with the project names coming from the cabinet or TBIC, which was where that one initially came from. But,
okay, thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, Josh. Workforce development. I get the feeling that we're moving forward and very positive in that. And you all had the sheets there and a few numbers there. But I'm going to skip down just a little bit and talk about workforce participation rate, because I think that's the anchor as far as what we're trying to address here in Boyle County. At 53.9% is probably about 5 percentage points below the state average. So we're looking as far as what are some of the things that we can do to help address that. Because if we can address the participation rate, get people working, your taxes come in that, and it helps the local and regional economy. So really focusing on that, there's several activities that we have, and one of the main things that we've been doing is an event every 6 months. We started this in the spring of last year. In September of the fall, this year we'll have our 4th job fair. And each time we've done that, it's gotten a little bit bigger, and it's turned into an event. Now, when I say it's getting a little bit bigger, what we want to focus in on too is those vendors and those employers that come in here. Are we helping them? Are we linking them together as far as with the potential employees? One of the things that I really try to do is not only do I do a survey as far as the vendors and their feedback. One of the things that I ask, would you come back? Would you do this? 80% of them are saying, yes, we want to come back. The next 15 says very likely that we'll be back. So that's a good sign. One of the things that I experience in working, I really try to work the room as we're doing this. My question is, are you finding the people that you need as far as that have the skills that can do the jobs that you're advertising for? This last one I felt very good about, because just talking with our employers there, yes, we're finding them. So one of the things that we want to do if they are coming back is what happened? What happened as far as that? Have you hired folks, or there's a lot of different things that happen throughout that, but the fact that they're getting the employees that or the applicants that they need, that's what we're really trying to focus in on. Just some quick numbers there, that 4.5% as far as that unemployment, that's going down, and that's a good number. The average weekly wage has gone up. It's about a 4% increase as far as from the last report that we've had. And by the way, as far as these figures, where they come, these are Bureau of Labor Statistics. I submit numbers to them quite a bit every month in that. So the numbers there are going in the right direction. The other thing that we've done, and Josh mentioned this too, in the event that we're real quick to respond, and we're just a part of, as far as where the ad districts and some of the rapid response, if companies letting go, we want to be there to assist. What was good about the last time, as far as when Honeywell let go of some folks, the timing as far as we had a job fair that week. So, and I saw some of those folks out there, and just talking to a few, well, I've got some jobs, but I want to stay close to Danville. So, you know, we've got Danville. The thing is about the employers that we have there, we've got a diverse group of employers, whether it's healthcare, education, government, manufacturing, social services, tourism, entertainment. So we've got something for everybody, hopefully, as far as where their interests are. So just a quick estimate, and these aren't my numbers, these are the chambers. So that's my disclaimer. But as far as we're looking, probably about 400 to 450 participants came through the last rainy day. I might add that. But some of the other things that we're trying to do, not only as far as the regional job fairs, but Fair Chance Academy, working with the chamber. We had one, well, the chamber sponsored that back in early May, and we'll probably do that as well, because that was a severe weather day, so we had to break that up. But other things that we're trying to do as far as being active in community partner with the schools, specifically as far as Danville Independent College, independent schools, with the Pritchard Committee and their grant. So one of the things that we really are trying to focus in on is getting to our juniors and seniors and talking about career exploration, and because that is so important as far as to keep some of our talent here.
You all mentioned the dual credits with BCTC. Okay.
Yes. And we work real closely with BCTC, and I'm really looking forward to working with Ty. I think his background, as far as his education background, or working as an educator, so I'm really looking forward to that. So those are some of the things that we've done. But I think we're moving in a positive direction and trying to address it.
For you, you and I talked a little bit about this. Have you had any reaction from either high school about hosting a job fair for high school students, and specifically targeting, you know, like some of the jobs that will specifically hire students?
Talk with, and Josh mentioned this too, as far as they're very active as far as on our workforce development committee.
I'm aware. I just didn't know if.
Yeah, and we did that last year. We had to cancel for some reason, and I told them anytime that they're ready, we're here to assist in that. So.
I'd like to add kudos for the job fairs. I take my grandkids that are in high school, and I learn more than they do, I think, in terms of what companies and industries they have. I've heard the name, I know they're in the community, but I don't know what they make, I don't know what their hourly rate are, and they give me all this information. So I'd encourage every local government leader to attend these and learn about what's out there.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because one of the things I didn't mention is we have the simulation as far as that, and that's really geared toward it. It's for anybody, but we certainly try to get them to play with that. And throw a little pizza in there. That helps a little bit. So.
Well, it's amazing too. You think you know what businesses you have, and then you go to the job fair and it's like, well, I didn't know that was here. Well, I didn't know that was here. You know, so yeah, it helps adults as much as it does.
I think so. I mean, and one of the first time we tried to really get a profile as far as who's coming in, that wasn't very successful. We tried actually just doing technology, and we only had like 4 responses. So we changed it the old-fashioned way and did a survey, and we've got a pretty even amount as far as a group, as far as the age. quite a few retirees. So there's something there as far as interest for a lot of people.
Good deal. Thank you very much, Harold.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'll go ahead and wrap up. The Danville-Boyle County Development Corporation is the lead economic development corporation in the surrounding counties. We're going to take that position. We're going to own it. We are the regional hub for doing business here. We are an economic powerhouse, and we do have a lot of economic development going on. So, but we're going to bring everybody along because our workforce comes from other counties, and that investment here in that workforce is very critical to us having the businesses located here. For example, Wilderness Trail has done a $19.6 million expansion, and that includes brick houses, which cost $2.8 million to build, a $5 million expansion on their brewery operations, or their distillery, and the same with Luca Mariano with his distillery operation. And to put it in perspective, the Chick-fil-A was about $1.4 million to build, and they employ about 190 people. So that workforce is critical, and that's a skill builder job. And the same with Drake's was $1.2 million to build, and they're operating and they're doing well. Yes, sir.
On Chick-fil-A, and I noticed in your the pictures you've included in our packet here, I guess just so that we can fill in a lot of that dirt that's in the picture, where do we stand on getting the road access completed?
From the front.
$1 million question.
So we can fill in that dirt. And what can we do to expedite that process?
That's really a city enforcement question. We are actively monitoring that, and between Kinder Morgan and CJ May, the property owner developer, there seems to be at best some sort of litigation of who's responsible for making those lines the depth that they're supposed to be and ensuring public safety. And I have my opinion, and I know if I was in a position, there would be enforcement action against the pipeline owner to make them come into safety and compliance so that they would not hinder economic development, future land use with Trey Owens property or CJ May. But I'm not in, or safety, and I'm not in that position. The only thing I can do is advocate for, like you, we want that road open, we want access to the intersection, we want those intersections to be safe and all roads. So we're actively participating in that and asking the question why and when.
I guess, yeah, and I guess the why to me is, it seems like the pipeline has to be crossed in other areas of that pipeline path by road, so I don't get what makes this an issue all of a sudden. So it just doesn't make any sense with me.
Pipe the traffic, where you got tractor trailers coming in, weight load.
I mean, doesn't the pipeline go under the main road and to Lowe's and everything else? I can't imagine that it.
I think at the last city commission meeting, not last, but the one before, Stephen Dexter reported that they're entering into mediation. Is that still ongoing? The two parties that
we have a councilman here.
Well, I asked him.
No, I'm not mad at the city or anybody. I'm to the point that something has to be done.
Yeah, and it's, and I won't belabor the point, and I know you guys got a lengthy agenda ahead of you. Everything that's being done that can be done by the city to remedy it in a timely manner is being done.
Where can the county come in on this? Because we did sign that TIF, which eliminated property taxes, correct?
They were not part of that. The Chick-fil-A was not part of that.
But Chick-fil-A is open and it's doing fine.
I'm just saying they're not part of that tax thing. They didn't
I'm well aware of that, but I'm saying future economic development and use of that road, nothing's going to go in there until that road's open. And so
maybe that's something he needs to encumber some of that.
My question is since we have signed into something, how can we get involved and assist the city or whoever to make this pipeline be safe. I mean, we already have a very active community that already questions the pipeline and its safety. And we've already had a problem not too far from here with a pipeline explosion. And so how can we push this? You know, I don't know if people from Comer's office can maybe help a little bit, give us some help, I don't know. But, you know, we need to come at it from all angles, because this is, you know, you and I have talked, and that's a great addition to our community, and I worry, you know, about any hindrance to their business operation.
Yeah, so that was my
long
point,
time.
exactly, is that
Yeah.
we've got to find a way to get this beyond whatever's
Behind us
hanging
and
it
move
up.
on. All right.
Yeah, because again, we got to fill in all that dirt, and
Yeah.
it benefits
Yeah.
the city, the county, everyone, and the more time that goes by, the more time that it stays dirt.
And surrounding counties, because of employment options, and, you know, there's.
Yeah.
So
Thank you, JJ.
You're welcome. Why, actually, can I ask a couple questions?
Sure.
All right, so when we're talking about these new business startups, I was one at one point, and I was lucky to come into an established business, but you still have a lot of questions. And one of the first things you get hit with, and I completely understand why they do it, and there's less of them now, but, you know, first few days I was open is every group that, you know, is run by management, I mean, by membership fees, comes and hits you. And so I don't know, maybe if that's something that with some of the extra money that's been given, maybe for the first year, economic development takes care, because we can't ask the chamber and others just to completely waive that fee. I mean, that's how they operate. So maybe that's something we do is ask we can talk about it at the next board meeting, but ask about, you know, can we have a pot out there so that we can, if somebody comes on board, we enroll them into the chamber meeting and we pay their first year so they can see the value of it or whatever. So I think that would be helpful. Number two, you know, we talk about housing a lot. Apartments. Can we talk apartments? Can we actively go after some people to build some apartments in this community? Real apartments.
Yes, so just kind of talk about both those things. As a past chamber director, I'll go back to your first statement, it's like a grocery store. A grocery store sells milk as a loss leader. Well, as a new business coming to your community, if I was a chamber, as a chamber, former chamber director, I would bring those new businesses on for the first year at no cost to be a participant, to learn the ways and be a participant and get active. Once they get established, then a gradual or a full fee, $200, $300, $600, whatever there is based on their employment. That's how you grow your membership. It's the same way that we grow the DBCDC membership, is we show an active a program. Hey, here's what you do. Here's how you graduate from a $2,500 to $1,500, you know, $15,000 membership, whatever the case may be. You got to show your work, and you got to show different opportunities, and that's where we're building. We're helping build that capacity again with our chambers and our other non-for-profits. It's very important. And as far as housing, there are 152 lots in 152 lots in 3 different developments, which are single-family. Stonegate Development, 52, Hidden Springs, 42, and Brook Acres, 58 lots that are going in specifically for the apartment housing and townhouses. We're going to work with our housing committee to talk specifically on getting some developers. We don't have that many developers here locally that build multifamily. That's a unique little branch, and we just don't have that big enough population, but we're going to focus on that. The center provides a lot of housing for their students, multifamily, that is not available. So if they didn't, then that would push that to the market. So we have to look at other.
Well, a lot of ours has also been swallowed up by Airbnb and VVRO and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, if you look towards trends, I mean, you can only just look into Lexington. Now they're getting ready to build their second, you know, summit is what I'll call it over there. I think it's called the Fountains there on the corner of Harrisburg and Man of War, where it's a lot of apartments that are being built. You know, if you look on 27 there in Nicholasville, Brandon Crossing, I mean, it's kind of encompassing a small little town atmosphere. You got everything you need right here. Here's your apartments. We need that. I know
Town center development.
but the baby step to that is actually just some apartments. You know, some actual. I mean, you know, look at the good old. Those things got swallowed up as soon as they became available.
Yep.
The market's there, and you
I
can't
agree.
ask somebody just.
I agree.
And I know I'm just preaching to the choir on this one, but you can't ask somebody just to come in and like, hey, let's build a house. Or buying a house is scary enough. Renting a house is scary enough because there's a lot that goes with it. So I mean, we're missing that crucial step of actual apartments in this community.
And affordable.
Oh, also Marty Gibson's talked to someone who I think was involved in some of those projects in Lexington and plans to bring them here locally soon.
Yeah, that's in our July meeting, we're working on it.
Good.
So.
And then the last one is maybe when I stop being magistrate, you'll stop hearing me talk about it. But rides to BCTC. This court spent a lot of money trying to get that advanced technology center going. Does no good if they don't have people coming to it. And again, availability for people that truly need that extra education are in this community, and we just need to provide them the rides to that. So I don't know who we can task with that, but it has to happen somehow. We have to get with Bluegrass Ag, Rideshare, whatever, and just make that, I don't care if we have to have some sort of summit to get everybody involved, but just get them there and understand the urgency of this, because at some point, BCTC or the Kentucky Education Technical College there is going to look and see this is no longer working and we're going to lose it. So we've gone through director after director after director out there. Nobody seems to be able to solve that piece of getting people there, you know, especially when you start talking dual credits. You know, it'd be great if you could just, you know, have something going over to BCTC from the high school or whatever, but we need people that can get from, you know, Junction, from Forkland out there that don't have necessarily the rides or consistent rides to get there. That's it.
And
Short list.
And I wanted to mention that JJ's been helping me a lot with our grassroots project we're doing in Junction City. And we're having our second meeting this coming Monday.
Good.
So
Good.
I just wanted to say thank you, appreciate his information.
Pleasure, we're here to help.
JJ, Josh, Harold, thank you all very much for
Thank you.
presenting and giving us an update on what's going on. Yeah. Thanks so much.
you. We're always available. My cell phone, you have it, call me anytime.
What's that number?
ER54. You haven't.
8675309?
Thank you all, I appreciate it.
That's showing age, isn't it? Thank you, thank you. All right, Coroner, Eric Grant.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, I was just coming before the court. I know the second reading of the budget passed, and I was seeking approval for the purchase of a vehicle. The funds will be allocated between EMS, the coroner's office, and emergency management. The budget allowed for $23,000 for each of those three entities. What I would like to purchase is it's a Tahoe SSV from Bachman Chevrolet at a price of $52,537. We would need to get a radio at a cost of $1,263.94, and then the emergency equipment, striping and so forth, will be done by L&W. Emergency equipment at a cost of $12,895.13, which would put us just under the $69,000 budget at $67,697.07. And I would also request pay upon delivery for that, if approved.
Okay, is the price for the vehicle state contract price?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's for this upcoming budget?
It'd be for the upcoming, yeah, the upcoming.
Yes, the contingency would be, it would not be purchased until after July 1.
So what's our vehicle count with the coroner's office? We've got yours, we've got this one, and
We have a transport vehicle, and then this would be a multi-use vehicle to be used between the three agencies.
Okay.
I'll make the motion, we approve that request.
That's for the whole package, correct? The radio, the striping, and the vehicle.
Yes, purchased after July 1.
And payment on demand.
Paid upon request, on delivery.
On delivery, okay. So I have a motion by Magistrate Gay, a second by Magistrate Harmon. Any discussion? We'll get you a megaphone, Magistrate Harmon, so you can. All right, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries.
Thank you all.
Thank you. All right. EMS Director, Mike Rogers. Come on, name.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Fiscal Court, for giving me time to speak today. We have an agreement that is on the agenda for our crisis response unit. It's an agreement with the City of Danville Police Dispatchers and 988 in New Vista. Basically, the design of the agreement is to build a system that will help triage the calls to figure out if it needs to be a traditional police, fire, EMS call, if there's weapons involved, or some sort of dangers, or send the crisis response unit, or after hours would send it to 988 in Vista to have the call center handle the calls. So there was the agreement for information sharing, and then there was a memorandum of understanding. I talked to Chris yesterday about it, and he didn't have any issues with it. So if you have any questions, you can. And Melinda is here with dispatch if you have any questions about that.
So the trainings, they're getting trained on how to make the decision for this call.
Correct. We have got a policy that will be approved by the commission, hopefully July 8th. That will tell them who to utilize depending on what the caller states.
Okay.
And the agreement hasn't been approved by the city yet, so.
All right, is there a motion to approve? You want these done separately or together?
It's up to you, Judge.
Okay, so we've got a memorandum of understanding between 911 and Fiscal Court and New Vista 988. Let's approve them separately. Okay.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Magistrate Bodner, second by Magistrate Sleeper.
Which one are we approving?
This is the memorandum of understanding.
Okay.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. Then we have the agreement for information sharing. This is between Danville 911, EMS, and New Vista.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, have a motion by Magistrate Sleeper. Second?
Second.
Magistrate Bodner. Any discussion on the agreement? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries.
Thank you.
You're
Just-
welcome.
Just a quick update on the grant and how the team is coming together. We, last week, we had 2 days of training, the mental health first aid, which was one of the first required classes we have to take before we can deploy. The second one, which is the crisis intervention for first responders, is tomorrow and Thursday at the Ag Extension. It starts at 9 and runs through 5 o'clock. We are teaching that. The Department of Medicaid Services will be there. The Department of Behavioral Health Services will be there. We are hosting the training. We're doing the training ourselves. It's the first time that this class has been taught outside of just the law enforcement. So pretty exciting for us. So.
And I want to say congratulations, Director Rogers, for that. I mean, it's pretty awesome that we are the county that is taking the lead on this and providing the training for all the other counties that received the same grant. We're one of 7 counties to receive this grant. So it's pretty awesome that Boyle County is taking the lead, and it just proves that we are, again, a regional area in a lot of things.
And we are also on the dispatch end as well,
Yes.
taking mental health classes as well, partly paid from the grant and partly that we're taking through Department of Criminal Justice trainings.
Awesome.
So.
Awesome. Yeah, it's great.
Fantastic.
So much work.
So anybody that wants to
This
go out
is just-
tomorrow and just hang out and just observe, I'm sure Mike would
Oh, yeah.
welcome
Excited
anybody
to have
to.
you. We're hosting Christian County, sending some folks from all over. There's 16 people coming from all over the state. Perry County will also be there. So.
That's pretty neat.
Very neat.
Thank you, Director Rogers. Thank you, Melinda. Okay, moving along. Shannon, reappointment of employees. Thank you for being here.
See ya, thank you all. The reappointment order to reappoint all of the staff for the upcoming year.
Okay, with salaries.
With salaries.
Effective July 1, 2024.
Make that motion.
Have a motion by Magistrate Gay, second by Magistrate Harmon. Any discussion? Do we have discussion?
Yeah, he's got a little bit of discussion.
Okay. Discussion.
Are we just reappointing blindly everyone on here? Because there's one on the second page that I didn't think we were gonna.
Can you,
There's only one on the second page in red.
oh. Oh, okay. Well, he'd be reappointed until the
Okay.
full-time person is hired.
Okay, all right.
Yes, yes.
That's all on.
Yes, yes. So we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries.
It was
Thank
just
you.
awkward to have the conversation in front of you.
Right.
It was just awkward having the conversation in front of you.
Oh, that's all right.
We're gonna reappoint Mike.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Okay, Miss Julie, Administrative Code.
Okay, just 3 minor changes recommended this year. The first is on page 29. After talking with Mike, we removed language about negotiation and litigation of debt. That's all handled by our billing service. I did add the fiscal court travel policy, and there was a little bit of conflicting language on how many days the department heads have to report to fiscal court. And so I took the 30 and made it 60, consistent with the other language. So that's all I have for this year. I don't, unless you all, there's something.
See something, yeah.
I move we approve the administrative code with the updates and changes as suggested by the county administrator.
Okay, have a motion by Magistrate Gay. Is there a second? Second by Magistrate Sleeper. Any discussion?
Yeah. Julie and I talked about this a little bit, and it kind of got brought up at our last conference, and you know, we have now brought on more vehicles that our employees use. And I really want to make sure that we are protecting ourselves and the county taxpayers on some of these vehicles, that we have so many of them out there. And so I don't know if we need to actually have it in something in the administrative code. I know it's in the handbook. We talked about that, Julie.
Yeah.
But I think we really just need to hammer down on vehicle usage, who oversees the vehicle usage, the liability that goes along with this. If people are using some of their county-provided vehicles for non-county operations and something happens, does that open us up because we've not been overseeing it? And then the very simple one is fuel costs. You know, how are we monitoring the fuel cost of these if these vehicles are now being basically treated as a personal vehicle? And so, you know.
Are you thinking that should fall back on the department heads to monitor the employees under their purview that drive county vehicles?
I'm looking for suggestions from the court, from my fellow magistrates on what they think, and how we police this, I guess is the easiest way to say it.
And I had a comment that someone wanted to know, is every one of our vehicles that are county marked, every one of them are marked? Someone asked.
No.
No, they're not marked. Okay, that's what somebody said.
There's the sheriff's office has some undercover vehicles that they can't mark, otherwise it would.
But otherwise, all of them are marked.
No, they're still not marked though.
They're still not marked.
No,
Not all the vehicles are marked.
They should
Yeah,
be though. We should have something on there that's.
Yeah, I know that's an expense, but I think that's
A
what.
sticker is not that big of an expense.
Right.
No.
They
I'm
want.
good with that.
You want the seal on the door?
Right.
Or you
Something,
need that?
yes.
Okay.
Something that will,
That'll add accountability.
I guess because we've got a lot of county vehicles and people are now starting to say, how many vehicles do you all have? So,
Not only.
We have a lot.
we have a
we
lot
do-
now, yeah.
We do have a lot, which is why, we're gonna have a conversation about the fleet program, but
Yeah, I think the fleet
also-
program's it, yeah.
also, I wanna make sure our employees, we can say it's in the handbook, but I wanna make sure our employees understand. I saw a vehicle from another county, in our county, that was, pulling a trailer, doing personal stuff.
Oh.
Which is clearly, that's not what these vehicles are designed for. And some of our, we spend a lot of money on these vehicles. And it's unethical, but it's also, it's a waste of taxpayer dollars, because the more miles, the more gas, the more cost it is to our.
Would y'all like to have a workshop on this and everybody get together and
I
just
think that'd
kind
be
of list, priorities and
Concerns.
come up with something? Can we do
Yeah.
that? Can we just schedule a workshop for that?
Yeah.
Okay,
I think that'd be good.
all right.
Yeah,
We'll do
'cause
that.
I think it needs some study and work.
And while I am grateful that other people come in and out of this county for work, I wonder, we do have people that have take-home vehicles, but I think if they're leaving the county, if somebody's working here in this county and they've come to take a job and they get a vehicle in this county, they live outside the county, that vehicle should not leave the county. Not to pick on the police, but this is one of those prime examples of, we allow police vehicles to go to homes because it's easier for them to access them. And we'd probably have to have a workaround for the sheriff's department, but easier response times. But part of that is, when you see a police car parked in a neighborhood, you kind of feel a little better or whatever. And that's the initial intention for it a lot of times, but.
But you have other department heads too that drive county vehicles that live out of county. So it's gonna apply to some of our department heads
Right. Yeah,
as well.
I understand that, but
Okay, we'll schedule a workshop.
yeah, right. Yeah. Some places have it where you just, you find a place to park it within the county and your personal vehicles. One of our employees actually does that, where he leaves the car somewhere here and goes, which is the responsible thing to do.
Yeah.
So, anyway,
Okay, we'll schedule a workshop for that.
perfect, thank you.
You're welcome.
Love workshops.
Yay.
You want food?
Yeah, have food, they will come. Okay, at this time, I need a motion to go into executive session pursuant to KRS 61.810, paragraph 1, paragraph.
Julie's on there.
Oh, we didn't, I'm sorry, we didn't vote
Oh, yeah.
on that last motion.
Oh, we
Or
had
did
discussion. We had discussion.
Yeah, we had discussion. Any other discussion on administrative code? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries.
Good job,
Thank you.
Katina.
Yeah, good catch.
Good
catch. Keep me straight. Okay, now I need a motion. For executive session, deliberations on the future acquisition or sale of real property by a public agency, but only when publicity would be
Make that
likely
motion.
to affect the value of the property to be acquired from the agency. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I second. Magistrate Cullen, Magistrate Boner, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed
See you,
nay.
Rick.
Motion carries.
Which one should I take?
I guess maybe that one.
Okay, need a motion to return to regular session.
So moved.
Magistrate Gates, or second?
Second.
Second by Magistrate Cullen. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. We are back in regular session. We have a motion from executive session.
I'll make a motion that we authorize the county judge and county attorney to begin negotiations for a piece of property.
Okay?
I'll second.
Second, okay. Motion by Magistrate Gay, second by Magistrate Sleeper. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. All right, thank you very much. Now we are up to magistrate reports, and Magistrate Sleeper, we'll start with you today,
Okay.
if you're ready.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll pull it up here. Received calls and had discussions regarding the state's cutting of brush along state roads in Boyle County. And there were some complaints regarding the condition of the foliage along the side of roads after the cutting. There were comments of appreciation, though, however, that the cutting was long overdue and thankfully had finally been done by the state. Some areas had become hazardous due to the overgrowth. There were concerns that the ugly appearance of the cut areas presented a poor image of Boyle County when people entered the county on these arteries. And it seemed we need to find a way to encourage the property owners along these roadways to keep the foliage trimmed back on a more regular basis so it doesn't look so hideous when the state does trim. And maybe the state should be more frequent in trimming the roadways. So those were comments that were received. The EDA met on June 17th, and there's really no update on the Norfolk Southern property. The EDA bylaws are continuing to be worked on, and there were bids for an auditing firm for future audits that may be necessary. The Affordable Housing Panel discussion, I have an update on that. I served as a panelist on the Kentucky Women's Network panel discussion on affordable housing on June 11th. Concerns and ideas for solutions to our present housing crisis, the state of homelessness in our county, and the findings from recent housing study were all presented. Feedback received from those in attendance was quite positive. Don't know if we came up with any definite solutions, but at least there's discussion and some ideas moving forward. So, we activated a cooling center here in the courthouse due to the high heat and humidity forecast. The cooling center was operated from 12 noon until 6 p.m. on Thursday, June 20th through Saturday, June 22nd. We had 11 volunteers who filled 18 slots. No one took advantage of the center that I'm aware of when I was here, but from what I hear, nobody actually showed up, but we were here if they needed us. And
We did have a couple.
we did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, because
Yeah.
whoever I talked to didn't know.
Yeah, we did the first day. We had the one Gerry was here.
Okay,
And there was
because there wasn't any coming while I was here.
Yeah, Gerry was here and we had a female come.
Oh, okay,
Mhm.
all right.
Yeah, she stayed for a little while.
Okay, well, I hadn't heard other than that, so okay, we'll amend that then. The reason we didn't have more partakers may be because the temperature did not get as high as forecast, and also there's probably some that are reticent to come to the courthouse for whatever reasons, numerous reasons. So a possibility of another location is being pursued, so Gary's looking into that. Final thing is June 22nd, this past Saturday, the rabies clinics was held at Jefferson City Park. Magistrate Boder and I were there, and it was conducted by our Animal Control Department with the assistance of the Boyle County Health Department, and it was a huge success. Participation from the public was greater than anticipated. In the words of our shelter director, Sissy Sloan, she said it was a super successful clinic. Everyone was extremely grateful and polite. I got pressed into service when I showed up. One of the volunteers was late getting there, so I assisted in drawing up syringes of rabies vaccine, preparing them to be injected to the animals, and also pointing people with questions to the appropriate person who knew the answer to those questions, since I didn't. And we ran out of rabies vaccine. We administered 50 rabies vaccines, 25 canine DHP vaccines, 9 feline HCP vaccines, and 37 microchips. And this was all done for each participants only charge $10, so
That's
very
great.
good.
Yeah, that's really good.
And I'd like to thank Sissy Sloan, our shelter director, and Dr. Courtney Brockman, the veterinarian who helped, and Jessica Joseph, animal control officer, Jason Stevens from the health department, and environmentals for them, and then Brittany Elkins also from the health department, and all the responsible pet owners who brought their pets into the clinic. That's my report.
All right, thank you. Mr. Butler?
Well, I've had some comments thanking us for, you know, I did send a video around of how close the tree limbs were coming to the windows. And so they immediately, I don't know if that helped the state get out there or not, but they come out that week and they did trim it all back and it looks ugly. And I had some comments about how great it was. Then I had some comments about how horrible it was. So I was like, oh, okay. But I do know one thing. I shared one comment on Facebook, nature heals itself. And it will, in 2 or 3 weeks, it will not look so stark. It looks very, very stark right now. Just, but I've already gone by the places I know, and it is coming back now. So it will take over. And it'll be back out in the middle of the road if we don't watch. But anyway, fire department, the Junction City Fire Department had the block party. We had a good turnout for a first time, and I'm sure we're gonna have more. We'll just have to figure some more ways to get everybody out.
It was awfully hot that day.
It was very hot that day, and it was it was a good event. But we're gonna keep working with them. We had our first meeting of, we're now calling Junction City Matters.
Oh.
And so we had our first meeting, had 11 people there. J.J. Harris was one, and Matthew Longstreet, I will miss somebody, but anyway, we had a bunch. I'll remember them next time. Kathleen Single, Carol Sargent, Jim Douglas came in, and Rita Douglas, 2 of the council members, Vicki Boland and Mary Hurst. And who I'm leaving out, Angie Harris, his wife, was there. I know I'm leaving somebody out, but anyway, there was 11 of us, and Matthew Longstreet, I don't know if I said him or not, but anyway, they all had some really good ideas. We just determined what our vision was, and put our long-term, short-term, immediate goals, and assign some things to look into for each person, and it's a beginning. So we're really excited about it.
Do you have another meeting scheduled?
Monday at 9 o'clock at Junction City Hall. Monday is the 1st, I think. July 1st. Let me look. Sure.
July 1st at 6 o'clock?
Yes.
Is that it? You said Junction City Hall?
Yes. That's the City Hall. Yep, July 1st, 9 o'clock. We would encourage anyone that's interested. We really want to get more people involved. You know, we'd like to have that room full of interested people that want to help make Junction City better.
Did you say 9 o'clock or 6 o'clock?
9 o'clock.
In the morning?
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock. Oh, okay, I wrote down 6. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay, I hope I didn't say 6. I'm not going to be there at 6. Yes,
9
I'm not going to be there.
Okay.
We met at 9 this past week ago from Monday, and then we're going to meet again. We're trying to think of an event we could have in September as like a party in the park to bring awareness to our park and what we want to improve it, and to get recruitment of people that are vested in that community. So we want to get parents out, that people that are really invested in that area. And other than that, well, I was going to talk to Roger about a couple of road issues, but I'll have to catch him.
Is he out there? Yeah.
Is Roger out
Yeah,
there?
just ask him to come in.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
I didn't see him. I thought he made it.
Anybody else out there that wants to come in?
Steve, you want to come in?
They've heard enough. Just
Mr. Bodner has a couple questions for you.
Did I text you about the area on Tennessee Ridge? I think it's 180 Tennessee Ridge. There's a narrow area there that's got like Mr. Steve King came to me and asked me about, is there any way we could get that like excavated to make that widen, because it's real narrow area?
Is it right before you get to his house? Is that what?
I think it's for that rent, right before that rent. He's got a rental there, I think, 180. I went out and looked at it, and it's like, he said he wouldn't mind, it's on his property, but he wouldn't mind if that could be, the road could be widened. He keeps seeing near, he sprayed with the large trucks that are on that road that there's gonna be an accident. So I told him.
I can go look at it.
Okay,
and I don't
I'll
know-
text it to you, the
I don't know how
address.
close. I know where he lives. Is that
Okay.
where we're talking about? There is.
It's not where he lives. He lives at 330 Tennessee
But it's
Ridge.
before you get to his
Yes,
house.
180 Tennessee Ridge.
Yeah.
So
Depending
if
on
we-
how much county right of way is there.
Exactly,
and
that's
then
what,
how much
that's
is
what
on
I
personal
need to go,
property.
I need to go
Okay.
look at it and.
That's high powered.
I said, they're like, when is it coming?
Yeah, well, I wish we knew. I wish we could tell people
I do too.
when it's
Yeah.
coming,
I do
but
too.
it's hard to get any information.
Are we gonna get them back in here? I would love to.
We're
talk.
working on it.
Okay.
We're working on it.
Remember, it's not just Spectrum we need in here, though. We
Right.
need
Intercounty.
Intercounty.
Okay.
Right.
And also their contractor is the one that's doing all this.
But when Spectrum came a year ago, when I was sitting in here, they're like, we are getting all this background done. So
So they
they're
can start
sure-
launching it, yeah.
And that was a year ago. So they're like, we're right there. So now we just need to see.
Where that
Okay.
That's it.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Harmon.
Couple of things. Training is always usually good. And if you want to go to some really good training next year, I suggest you go to the Jailers Conference. 25 hours, it's intense training, and you take away far more than you brought in there. But it's important because our jailer gets his information there, along with some of his staff, and we always took anywhere from 8 to 10 people. I did. And I knew they would get what I get, and we all bring it back to the jail. And as a magistrate, I've been 2 times now for jailer training, and a lot of things have changed since I was jailer. And it keeps me up to date and to know what's going on. You get 25 hours. That's how much you get credit for.
That's a lot.
That's a lot, and believe me, when you leave, your brain wants to go to bed.
I can imagine.
They feed you full of information, good information. Information you will never get. And
Can we make sure we get those updates next year?
do what?
Like, no, when the conference is next year.
You wanna know?
Yeah, I mean, just
Okay.
kind of like Keiko sends us stuff, whatever.
Yeah,
that'd be,
right.
Yeah.
That'd be great to actually start having a list
I
of those
don't
conferences.
think I get it, but we
I'll
can
have
have,
it.
okay,
Yeah,
all right. Yeah, when
I'll
it
let
is.
y'all know.
At least the jail committee should be going.
Man, it's,
Yeah.
it's very, very insightful.
Okay.
Also, we had our magisterial training in Lexington, got to do that. Was in the hospital all week, went to jailer training the next week, and went over to Lexington with fellow magistrate and judge executive, and got that training all week. 2 days, it wasn't like the jailers,
Yeah.
but 2 days. But it's all good training because you always learn something.
Yeah.
If you go there thinking you know everything, you come out and say, well, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So, just encourage you.
Training is important.
Word of encouragement.
Yeah, training is important.
Yes, ma'am. Oh, I didn't mean to ma'am you.
You want to second that?
That's all I have, Judge.
Thank you, Measure Harmon. Measure Cullen.
I want to tag along to what Paul was saying about some of the overgrowth on these roads. I talked with Jamie and a couple other people at breakfast the other morning that this overgrowth starts on somebody's property. And so if we may get to the point where if this is such a problem, and it is a problem, when you're looking at people's, when people are coming into the community or whatever, that we may need to start tasking people with keeping better care of their property, kind of like with what Angie does. If we have to come out and mow somebody's property, then there's a cost associated with that. So, you know, the county and the state do their best to try to keep up with this problem, but it didn't start out our problem. And I don't necessarily know that it should be the taxpayer's problem either. So if people have, you know, property that's overgrown, the responsibility really needs to lay on them first. So, because, you know, even when we do try to fix the problem, we get other problems from other people.
I think some of that comes from that in-between area. We don't do that because the state's gonna do that. You know, it's right on the thing, so.
We get right-of-ways, but it's really still their property.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's, the right-of-way is there so we can take care of these problems that get out of hand, or if we need to do certain things with it, but it's still their property, still there. So.
Yeah, you know, and it's so disheartening in some ways because we have such beautiful rock fences still in this community, and especially coming in, you know, and I guess it's Magistrate Sleepers District, coming down Maple Avenue. There's, in the worst, you know, the biggest danger to rock fences is the overgrowth and all that, and by letting it just get completely out of control, it just destroys the rock fence, and then it causes problems because then it grows into the road as well. But yeah, you're right, it is a personal property issue.
Right. And we'll do things, you know, Rogers guys are great out there, and they handle stuff as soon as possible. Sometimes they're already on it before you can dial the phone. But, you know, then you get into, you know, people's personal ideas of what should be done. You know, I got some stuff out on Gwynn Island where somebody wants, because of how things are, you know, they request we come out there and spray that right away, but his next door neighbor wants to have everything to be wildflowers. And so it's constant, you know, back and forth, and that's just
trying to find a good
we're trying to find the balance or whatever. So, and then the other thing is, you know, give kudos and bravo to Paula on her ambition on Injunction City.
Yeah.
Said for years it's a jewel.
It's a start. Yeah,
and,
it's a start.
And you just need the right people leading the charge.
That's right.
And glad to see she's doing that. So, anyway, and then that's about it. Just want to wish everyone a happy 4th of July, and hopefully we get some volunteers out at the Humane Society to help with the animals during the fireworks show. I won't be here, but I'll be out. So anyway, that's all I have.
Thank you, Magistrate Cullen.
Yep.
Magistrate Gatt.
All right, yeah. First, I want to start by giving the jail committee report on behalf of Magistrate Ellis that he's asked me to do. There was a meeting on June 17th, and Jailer Wolford, Deputy Holderman, and Magistrate Ellis were present. I actually was out of town, was not able to attend. The inmate census on that day, which we talked about a little earlier, was Boyle 61, Mercer 44, and Department of Corrections 81, other counties 2. And that's been a fairly typical, consistent census. It seems like those percentages have been holding pretty consistently, you know, a little bit of variance here and there.
What was the total?
A total of 183. Yeah.
I'd have closed the jail up back when I was jailer, that number.
That's funny.
Seriously. 440?
I know.
Come on, you've been in there.
Yeah. And then we had a washing machine that it's the older washing machine that we spent $800 to repair. So that's the report. I'll make a motion that we accept the jail committee statement report.
Have a motion by Magistrate Gay, second by Magistrate Cullen. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries.
And then the only other thing is that I would like to thank the women of the courthouse who got our budget taken care of.
Oh, my goodness.
Believe me, it was a team effort.
Oh, my goodness.
Because I know it was a lot of work and a lot of effort and a lot of digging, and so thank you, because we finally got it, approved by the Kentucky Department of Local Government, I guess. It has to sign off on it in the county budget, so all is well. And so again, thank you all for all of that.
I was happy to supervise him.
And Roger, you might need to help him out.
Roger's not getting involved in that.
I'm gonna go get him on both ways.
But again, thank you all, thank you. It was well done and a lot of work, we know, and appreciate it.
Awesome. All right, thank you very
That's
much.
all I have.
Magistrate Bowden says she forgot something.
Fireworks July 3rd, Junction City. And my grandson Austin did clean out. He showed me a before picture of the rock fence covered in green, and the lady paid him to clean it out. I was like, oh, that's a piece of history, and he got part of it. Oh, it looks so good. And he is I may have a second saint in the family. He got an offer from Thomas More. So he's just, and I did have a comment about the chipper. Angie said that heat was so hot, they hadn't been using the chipper, but that it would be used. So, and the pickleball, people are really interested in pickleball courts. So that was a big issue. I forgot to mention. That's it.
All right.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. Okay. County Attorney, you have a comment?
No.
Okay.
No, just-
All right. Julie?
I have a couple things.
Okay.
We met with the surveyor on Friday, and he is just about ready to set the pins on the Alum Springs property, which will conclude that.
Yes.
He is starting to work on Old Stanford Road, and we need to get with Roger on some things out there. July is Independent Retailer Month, so be sure you support your independent retailers. The spay and neuter grant for animal control is due July 15th, so we've got that. And we continue to work on the ethics, financial disclosures almost daily, so trying to get those in. And just a reminder of Friday morning at City Hall. That's not on the judge's list.
Okay. Thank you. Shannon, anything? Okay. All right, so I want to close this up by saying happy 4th of July to everybody coming up next week. The courthouse will be closed on July 4th, next Thursday. Julie mentioned the Parks and Rec meeting at 9 o'clock on Friday morning. That is open to the public, although there will be no public input unless you're asked to speak at that meeting. Fireworks, Danville County Fireworks will be July 4th. And tomorrow, June the 26th, marks my 35th year in county government. So, I have had I'm really old.
You have had a lot of birthdays.
I'm really old. I have all this gray hair. But I have certainly been blessed and appreciate all those that had faith and confidence in me to continue from being an employee of the Sheriff's Department to being an elected official, and I've loved most every minute of it. I'm happy to be here, and we'll see how far this goes past 35. But okay. Other than that, I don't have anything else. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Magistrate Gay?
Second.
Second by Magistrate Cullen. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. Oh. Adjourn.
Boom.
Done.
Disappointed.